Good afternoon from Los Angeles, and welcome to Stock Market Today, sponsored by Interactive Brokers. It's Alyssa Kaur. I'm here with Ken Shreve, and on today's show, we're going to be taking a look at three stocks. We have RH, Pinduoduo, and Amarin on our lineup today. But first, we want to take a look at the major indexes. We saw strong gains across the board today, Ken. The Nasdaq up about 0.7%, and the S&P 500 and Dow up just as much or a little bit more than that. So I think it's pretty safe to say that we are now solidly in these new highs.
Yeah, well, it was really nice to see the Nasdaq gap above the 8,500 level. We had talked about that level yesterday. We're seeing if it was going to be a resistance level or not. But market started off on solid ground. You had the White House economic advisor Larry Kudlow saying, "Hey, we're making progress on a trade deal," and that resulted in decent gains. But it was a solid close for all three indexes. Fresh all-time closing highs for the Dow, S&P 500, and Nasdaq. And again, that bullish gap above the 8,500 level for the Nasdaq was particularly compelling.
That's right. The bull case looking pretty strong here right now. And let's take a look at a few individual stocks, starting off with RH, which gained almost 8% today, a strong move higher, and I think potentially a buying opportunity here for investors.
Yeah, it still looks good. It was a close near highs for RH late Thursday. It was an SEC filing by Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway. It's a new holding, 1.2 million shareholding for Berkshire Hathaway. And, RH was a stock you can see had been kind of, trading near its 50-day moving average. Big breakout in September for RH on earnings. I think we're going to hear from RH in December next month in its earnings report. But nice test of the 50-day moving average here. The open price around 187. Stock still looks actionable here. This was a half position on leaderboard headed into today that turned into a full position based on the stock's relative strength. So a lot to like about RH here.
Yeah, and with earnings a couple of weeks away, a good opportunity to start building a position and some cushion heading into the earnings report.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be a very busy week of earnings next week in the retail sector. And like I said, I think RH is a few weeks away. But again, the initial breakout here in September was fueled by a strong earnings report. So nice first test of the 50-day moving average here, and stock's looking pretty healthy.
Yeah, that's right. And just a reminder to everyone that we did cover this pullback to the 50-day a number of days ago on this show. So we are putting names like this on your radar before the potential moves higher.
And IBD Live Thursday morning, we were talking about that test of the 50-day. It wasn't really, it was just sort of a test of the 50-day. It didn't make a conviction bounce off the 50-day until today, but it was a stock that was acting perfectly fine after that September breakout.
That's right. And moving on, we want to take a look at shares of Pinduoduo in the Chinese internet space, gaining about 3.5% today, looking like it's firming up after a recent pullback.
Yeah, headed into today, it was down 6 times in the past 7 trading sessions. So on the surface, that may seem not so great, but it really was an orderly pullback. I mean, this was a very powerful breakout for Pinduoduo over a 36.99 buy point, and today it outperformed nicely in higher volume. We're going to hear from Pinduoduo next week on earnings. We should note that JD.com, same industry group as Pinduoduo, another internet content firm in China. That stock actually popped early on earnings and then reversed slightly lower. So maybe that won't happen with Pinduoduo, but we'll see what earnings look like next week. But nice rally for the stock today in higher volume ahead of earnings. So still looks good, holding nicely above that buy point.
Yeah, that's right. And whereas we have Black Friday here in the U.S., the big holiday shopping date over in China was 11/11, with Pinduoduo taking part in that. So we'll have to see if we do get any details on that in the quarterly report. Huge triple-digit sales growth coming out of this company, as it's not yet profitable, but moving towards profitability, it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a really high-quality name in China. Excellent fundamentals, big sales growth, and again, on the verge of profitability. Expected to turn a big profit next year. So we'll see what they have to say next week. But again, picture perfect action after the breakout.
All right, and last but not least, we want to take a look at Biotech Amerin. Ticker there is AMRN, extending its gains today up another 12%, and the company has been on quite a streak in the past couple of sessions.
Yeah, I mean, 3 straight solid up sessions. So the FDA unanimously supported a second indication for its key drug Vascepa, which is derived from fish oil. Right now, it's approved to lower triglyceride levels with people with high cholesterol. Now it's being looked at to not only lower triglyceride levels in high cholesterol patients, but also with patients that are at risk for, stroke or heart attack. So, anytime a label can be expanded, that brings in more revenue. So that's looking pretty good. And stock up sharply 3 straight days. And there's a buy point here of 24.01. Looks like it closed right around the buy point, but definitely one to watch here. Lots of accumulation in this stock over the past 3 days, and could still be in the early stages of a breakout here.
Yeah, that is right. We'll keep an eye on how that acts around this new buy point. And quickly, just want to follow up on a stock that we mentioned yesterday after the close that reported earnings, Applied Materials.
Yes.
That one did, in fact, gap up today, AMAT. So definitely one for the radar, as we do talk about a lot of these stocks that gap up on earnings. Just wanted to give a quick shout out.
No, definitely worthwhile because chip stocks led another rally on the NASDAQ today. They've been outperforming. They outperformed again today, largely due to a solid earnings report from Applied Materials that was featured in the latest earnings preview column. And we published the next earnings preview column today and talking a lot about retail earnings. Target showing good action at its 50-day moving average. Ross Stores, TJX, so a bunch of retailers set to report next week.
That's right. Make sure you check out that weekly feature along with all of our other weekly features now out at investors.com today. And we do have some that publish over the weekend as well. All right, everyone, that's it for today's show, but just a couple of quick announcements for you. First, in case you missed it, we do have a new episode of the Investing with IBD podcast out now. We have a new episode that drops every Thursday, so don't miss it, and head to investors.com/podcast right now to listen or to check out our notes page with the charts. And we also have our last ever CanSlim Masters program happening the weekend of December 14th and 15th out here in LA. And you can catch all the details on that at investors.com/masters. Looking forward to it. Are you, Ken?
Oh yeah, it's going to be a great weekend.
All right. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. And we hope you have a great weekend. We'll see you right back here next week.